The Indiana Fever are that golden destination, and I can't help but laugh to the fans and the people online and the media commentators, unfortunately, who said that nobody wanted to play in Indiana. That doesn't make any sense.
Sheryl Swoopes is absolutely spiraling. She stood up, puffed out her chest, and confidently declared that Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever wouldn't be able to attract top free agents. Fast forward a few months, and here we are. Indiana just had one of the most successful free agency runs in league history. Meanwhile, Sheryl is left looking like a malfunctioning Magic 8-ball, consistently wrong and desperately trying to shake out a better prediction. Somebody needs to check on her because, at this point, the Fever's dominance just wiped out whatever credibility she had left.
People in the Fever were like,
That's not my point. There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some new shit
like
going
it's
on around there.
It's a lot. Yeah. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
Let's take a step back. Yes, Sheryl Swoopes is a Hall of Famer and a legend of the game, but lately, she's just clocking in as a full-time Caitlin Clark skeptic, working overtime to push terrible takes. She loudly claimed the Fever wouldn't be able to land top-tier talent because of supposed locker room issues. And yet, here we are. The contracts are signed, the deals are done, and Indiana just built a powerhouse squad while Sheryl sits on the sidelines, trying to act like she didn't just fumble another prediction.
Stephanie White came in and said, okay, hold up. Let me go to Indeed.com and Indeed get some free agents to come in here that want to play, that are accomplished, seasoned veterans. She did all that. Cheryl's been nowhere to be found. Sheryl got a lot of crow to eat, folks. Sheryl could be choking on crow right now. She need that Heimlich maneuver. If you see Sheryl Swoopes, tell her it's okay to come out and talk and say, man, you was wrong. It's okay.
I can only imagine Sheryl scrolling through her phone in disbelief. No way these players actually chose Indiana, she probably muttered. But yes, it happened. Natasha Howard, DeWanna Bonner, Sophie Cunningham, and even Asia Wilson's best friend Sydney Colson are all in. The Fever didn't just win free agency, they absolutely dominated it. And when Colson was asked why she signed with Indiana...
Yeah, I talked to Sydney Colson today. She said that Kelsey Mitchell was actually the first person she hit up because they built a bond here, playing AU for the last 3 years. She said she heard some good things about Caitlin Clark from her Aces teammate Kate Martin as well, so that made the decision easy.
Oh, the irony. She specifically mentioned wanting to play alongside Kelsey Mitchell, one of the exact players Swoopes had previously dismissed. And of course, she wanted to play with Caitlin Clark. You know, the same Caitlin Clark that Sheryl confidently claimed would need years to adjust to the WNBA. Years? Really? Meanwhile, Clark is out here dropping 40 pieces with ease, while Swoopes takes age worse than an unrefrigerated gallon of milk.
3 WNBA MVPs in your career. Would you consider each of those 3 seasons as dominant seasons for yourself?
No.
I can't. Bro, Sheryl Swoopes is willing to lie about her own career before she even admits that Caitlin is dominant.
At this point, hating on Caitlin Clark has become a professional sport, and Sheryl Swoopes is gunning for the gold medal. In fact, she's probably sweeping the podium, gold, silver, and bronze, standing there with a bitter expression while the Fever celebrate another major win. Oh, Caitlin won't translate to the WNBA? Yeah, tell that to Indiana, who's stacking elite talent like they're assembling the Avengers. Caitlin Clark isn't struggling, she's thriving. And the Fever? They're right there with her, proving every doubter, including Swoopes, dead wrong.
No, but players who will be free agents next year. There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
And let's be honest, the real reason some WNBA veterans and so-called legends can't stand Caitlin Clark is because she didn't wait her turn. She didn't ask for permission. She didn't tiptoe into the league with a humble, I hope I fit in attitude. No, she walked in, shattered 62 records, embraced the fans, and single-handedly elevated women's basketball to unprecedented heights. And that absolutely burns them up inside.
What it do, peeps? Sheryl Swoopes is been missing. Sheryl Swoopes is MIA. They got a APB out for Sheryl Swoopes. If you see Sheryl Swoopes, she did a lot of talking a few months ago about the Indiana Fever, the locker room environment, how people didn't want to play there, how people wanted to leave.
See, Caitlin Clark didn't need anyone's approval to become the face of the sport. She has more global recognition than half the WNBA combined, and it's not her fault. That's just what happens when you're a once-in-a-generation talent. Sheryl Swoopes, Angel Reese, Asia Wilson, and the entire anti-Clark brigade are going to have to live with that fact. Because while they're busy complaining, Caitlin is out here making history, selling out arenas, and turning the Indiana Fever into the team everyone wants to play for. Just pause for a second and appreciate that. The Indiana Fever, a team that was once ignored and irrelevant, is now the epicenter of women's basketball. A team that nobody cared about a year ago is now the most exciting squad in the league. That's not just impact, that's undeniable proof of who really moves the needle.
A lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness.
So, Sheryl, what happened to players don't want to go to Indiana? Who exactly were you talking to? The ghosts of teams past? Because real players, actual high-caliber players, are signing with the Fever like it's the VIP section of an exclusive club. Or did she think Caitlin Clark would have to beg people to join her? Be serious.
Went even further when a game that Sheryl Swoopes was calling for the Dallas Wings, where the commentator was talking about how great Caitlin Clark had been playing. Sheryl Swoopes, silent for 60 seconds, didn't even want to address it. And it got so bad that the game that Dallas then went to play against the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark, after the domination of the Chicago Sky, Sheryl Swoopes got pulled from the broadcast.
Somebody check on Sheryl, because she's clearly stuck in 2002. Back when the Indiana Fever were scraping together rosters like they were hosting open tryouts at the local YMCA. Newsflash, times have changed. This isn't Tamika Catchings dragging a squad full of part-time gym teachers to the playoffs. The Fever aren't struggling to recruit talent anymore. They're stacked. Natasha Howard, a defensive powerhouse, a champion, and an offensive weapon all in one. And when she signed with Indiana, she made it clear she wanted to be here.
It's going to be Caitlin Clark Flash Show. So it's going to be phenomenal playing with a point guard, like you said, that have a good vision on the court. Because that's like, as soon as she gets the ball in her hand, she's throwing it up because she already see the person down the court before she even get the ball in her hand. So that's one thing I love about her vision on the court. I really can't wait to catch all those passes and give her all the assists that she needs.
DeWanna Bonner, a walking mismatch, a dominant scorer, and one of the WNBA's elite veterans. And what did she do the moment she got to Indiana? She took to Twitter and went to war with all the Fever haters, setting the tone before she even stepped on the court.
I think she's a great player. I'm happy to be on the side of her now instead of guarding her. Of course, she's a dynamic player, and you see that in what she's done in her rookie year. And I'm actually excited to see what she's going to do her second year in the league with a little bit, more experience and understanding a little bit more. So
Sophie Cunningham, bringing the spice, the swagger, and enough trash talk to fuel an entire season. And guess who she wanted to play with? That's right, Caitlin Clark.
To be honest, I am just so excited to be here. I'm from the Midwest, and so for me to kind of get back to my roots and be close to my family, I'm so excited. Like when I say that I am refreshed and I am motivated, and I just kind of feel like my spark is back. Everyone thinks I've been feisty. You've not even seen the feisty side of me yet, so this should be really fun. But for me, I'm excited to be closer to home. I'm excited to deep dive into the community of Indiana. I've already met a lot of really cool people. I'm excited to inspire the next generation of young boys and girls around here, get to know the community more. But I promise you that I'm just ready to win. I'm ready to win. I'm ready for y'all to be there. But like I said, you guys haven't even seen feisty yet.
And Sydney Colson? Look, she's not out here dropping 25 a night, but she's about to turn that locker room into the most electric, high-energy environment the Fever have ever had. Chemistry? Through the roof. Do you see a pattern here? These aren't bottom-tier role players getting shuffled around for depth. These are legit WNBA stars and key contributors choosing Indiana, choosing to play alongside the Fab Four of Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hull. So while Sheryl Swoopes is busy scrambling to defend yet another one of her awful takes, the Indiana Fever are out here quietly building something special. Maybe someone should get Sheryl an eye exam because she clearly wasn't talking about Indiana. Maybe she was referring to the Las Vegas Aces, who are desperately trying to sell cheap tickets. Or maybe she meant the Chicago Sky, who just lost their leading scorer without a backup plan. Or perhaps the Connecticut Sun, a team imploding right before our very eyes. Meanwhile, Indiana? They're not just here to participate. They're here to dominate.
You know that I'm very excited, and I really agree with a lot of the moves the Indiana Fever have made. There's not been one trade or pickup that the Indiana Fever have made that I have not been on board with. I'm on board with every single one. And I just want to say the fact that the Indiana Fever have gone out and got these great players like a Natasha Howard, like a DeWanna Bonner, like a Sophie Cunningham, the fact that they've gone out and got these great players shows that they believe Caitlin Clark is great right now. They are on board with the Caitlin Clark vision, and it just makes me happy because they're not treating Caitlin Clark like a rookie who is gonna be good in 10 years. No, they're treating her like a superstar who is good right now.
Sheryl Swoopes really thought she was about to drop some earth-shattering, league-altering wisdom when she made those comments about free agency. She hopped on that podcast with the confidence of someone revealing top-secret information, but all she really did was expose her own credibility, or whatever was left of it. And honestly, at this point, are we even surprised? Sheryl's out here firing off bad takes like it's her second job. If there was a Hall of Fame for embarrassing predictions, she'd be a first-ballot unanimous selection.
The Fever. And by the way, every single narrative about the Fever is like whatever about them signing Sophie Cunningham, who they don't like. They love DeWanna Bonner. Like these people, they signed DeWanna Bonner. And again, they were saying, like, we have actual people working for networks being like, DeWanna Bonner will never sign for the Fever for obvious reasons. And I'm like, what are the obvious reasons? Genuinely, what are the obvious reasons? They are basketball players.
What's next? Is she going to claim Caitlin Clark isn't actually a generational talent? That Angel Reese is somehow the best player in the league? At this point, Sheryl could tell me water is wet, and I'd still feel the need to double-check. And now, with all these free agent signings, the Indiana Fever aren't just looking like a competitive team, they're looking like the blueprint for success. The funniest part? The same players Sheryl confidently claimed wouldn't even look at Indiana are now packing their bags, ready to join the movement, saying, "Where do I sign?"
See it. I'm really trying here not to crash out, okay? I can't take too much more. I just said the other day, what did I say? Another bomb is Sunday. I said, this isn't it. You know, I can't wait to see what the next bomb would be. Didn't know this would be the bomb. Stephanie White ain't playing fair. I have to say it again. Stephanie White is not playing fair. She on one.
Now let's talk about A'ja Wilson, because this is where things get even funnier. A'ja, the so-called face of the WNBA, just watched her bestie, Sydney Colson, leave Las Vegas to team up with Caitlin Clark. Imagine waking up, checking Twitter, and realizing your right-hand woman just dipped to go play with the exact player you've been trying to downplay. Oh, the betrayal, the drama. This is prime reality TV material, except A'ja isn't even the main character anymore. Caitlin Clark is.
I was like in tears, y'all.
And let's be real, Sheryl Swoopes hyping up A'ja Wilson like she's the second coming of Michael Jordan is starting to sound desperate. Meanwhile, the Aces are falling apart faster than Angel Reese's shooting percentage. Sydney Colson? Gone. Key role players? Vanishing. That so-called Aces dynasty? Looking shakier by the minute. And A'ja? Well, she's handling it the only way she knows how, tweeting dramatic messages about crying and pretending everything is fine. Hate to break it to you, but it's not fine. Meanwhile, Indiana is out here stacking talent like Thanos collecting infinity stones. Caitlin Clark isn't just the franchise player, she's the gravitational force pulling everyone to the Fever. Players want to play with her. They see the vision. They see the future. They see the unstoppable momentum. And poor Sheryl? She's stuck in the past, still trying to convince herself that Caitlin Clark isn't a game changer.
Indiana Fever are officially title contenders. Every day they have something new for us in free agency. And today it's Miss DeWanna Bonner. Six-time WNBA All-Star and WNBA champ, a veteran in this game, can pretty much do it all. Also an enforcer, nasty defense. Should I continue? We have a new starting five. Caitlin at the 1, Kelsey at the 2, Dawana at the 3, Natasha Howard at the 4, and Aaliyah Boston at the 5.
You already know Sheryl is going to start backpedaling. She's going to hit us with the classic back in my day speech, acting like Caitlin Clark couldn't survive in the old WNBA. Oh really, Sheryl? Because nothing says elite basketball like running around in oversized baggy shorts, bricking mid-range jumpers, and calling it fundamental. Please. The league has evolved, and Caitlin Clark is the new standard.
That doesn't make any sense by any stretch of the imagination. In what way would you not want to play in Indiana? The place where you're getting sold out arenas, the most viewership on television, playing with a player who was top 3 in MVP voting as a rookie, who clearly elevates her teammates around her. She scores a lot, but she is also dishing out the ball, able to elevate everyone around her. Why wouldn't you want to be?
And let's not forget, Sheryl keeps whining that Caitlin Clark is only getting this much attention because of the media. Oh, you mean the same way ESPN pushed you as the face of the league back in the day? Funny how it was fine when you were getting all the shine, but now that it's Caitlin, suddenly it's a problem? The math isn't mathing, Sheryl. It's giving insecurity disguised as analysis.
Didn't say she wouldn't be good. What I said was I didn't think Caitlin or Angel would come into the league and dominate immediately, which I don't think either of them did.
Respectfully, there is absolutely no way, even when we're trying to sit here and play semantics about dominating, there's no way that anyone could ever leave this season in saying that both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese didn't dominate. You would have to further explain what dominance means for you to not sit here and say that a player who is leading the league in assists while averaging 19 to 20 points didn't dominate that season.
Meanwhile, the Fever are looking scary. While other teams are scrambling, Indiana is moving like a championship squad in the making. The Aces thought they had time? Nope. That title window just slammed shut. Chicago? Still trying to figure out what their plan is. And Connecticut? Imploding in real time. But Indiana? They're here. They're serious. And they're coming for that trophy.
To begin with, right.
Caitlin Clark is a polarizing figure. People gravitate towards her. It's okay. Caitlin Clark's success doesn't diminish what Sheryl Swoopes accomplished. Caitlin Clark's arrival doesn't diminish anything that they've done. I don't get this old guard. People wasn't phonetic. It wasn't buzzing. The WNBA, and people didn't talk about it like they do. Instead of being upset about it.
And that's exactly why Sheryl is spiraling. She sees the writing on the wall. She knows Caitlin Clark isn't just the future of the WNBA. She's the present. She's already the face of the league, and she's about to take over in a way that no one else has. The way she casually pulls up from the logo like it's nothing, that's different. The way she threads passes that make defenders look clueless, that's special. The way she's got the WNBA breaking records before her second season even starts, that's generational. When Caitlin Clark inevitably wins MVP in year 2, oh, the meltdown from Sheryl Swoopes is going to be legendary. She'll be on every podcast, every panel, every interview, ranting about how the game was different back in her day. Ma'am, your day is over. This is the Caitlin Clark era now. The Fever are coming for that championship.
Quick thoughts on the $80 million Fever facility and Stephanie White being like, we're going to be aggressive in free agency, and massive names who are available. And I think, this is my bold prediction, the Indiana Fever are going to be playing for the WNBA title next year. Wow. They have their cornerstone pieces under rookie contracts.
Caitlin Clark isn't here to play nice. She's here to dominate. She's coming for the MVP, the title, and the entire WNBA and the Fever's front office. They've been cooking in free agency, and somewhere in the shadows, Sheryl Swoopes is watching this unfold like the villain in a bad movie, arms crossed, mumbling, "This ain't right." No, Sheryl, what's not right is whatever outdated agenda you've been pushing since Caitlin Clark stepped onto the scene. But here's the thing. The WNBA isn't waiting for your approval. Caitlin Clark is already the biggest name in women's basketball, and Indiana is about to take over the league. If you don't like it, get comfortable, because this is just the beginning. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen and we will see you in the next one.